and I've gone through the pendulum of putting too much of who I am self-worth wise on those physical looks on winning shows. But what happens is just as easily as it's given to you, you get second place in a show, third place in a show, all of a sudden you start feeling bad about yourself.
I think so many people in the fitness industry and wider in the wider world, especially younger people, it's very easy now with the technology we have and the social media platforms to seek external validation at all costs. As someone who has not only been an influencer, but has been on a bodybuilding stage where external validation is literally what you're chasing, right? How have you managed to navigate the last 15 years where you are being criticized or complimented for your body? And it's very difficult to separate your internal sense of worth, I imagine, from what the
Yep,
world is telling you.
100%. It definitely, look, I'll be honest and say it feels good when someone comments, "Oh my gosh, I love this about you, love that about you," on those external things. Everyone, wants to have, it's nice to have a compliment, but I think again, it's where you put validation. And I've gone through the pendulum of putting too much of who I am self-worth wise on those physical looks on winning shows. But what happens is just as easily as it's given to you, you get second place in a show, third place in a show, all of a sudden you start feeling bad about yourself. So you learn real quick that if you do that, you're going to be constantly on that roller coaster. And so I think for any actual competitors out there, I think that really keeping a journal, always being able to write things down and having goals outside of like, hey, my goal is to compete and win this show. And then what do we see? 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the show, they haven't gone to the gym as much. They're feeling crappy. They're eating worse. It's because they don't have these long-term habits that they've set up. They're not going back to the gym and switching up. Okay, now I'm going to focus on performance, or I'm going to focus on mental health, or I'm going to focus on relationships or business. And so I think that they haven't had, they might be chasing something for the wrong reasons. And again, that's where, not to, not to talk about systems too much, but if you're working out because you love to work out and you get ready for a show just as a byproduct of it, as something that you're going to take, you have some time in your life, it's a goal of yours to do, great, but it's not your end all be all. I talk to so many people, they're like, I just want to compete until I get a pro card. And I'm always kind of like, compete to get a pro card. You're going to get that pro card and you're not going to feel any different than you are right now. Yes, there's that, oh my gosh, I did it. That 24 hours of euphoria. You still got to wake up on Monday and go to work. You still got to wake up on Monday and realize, okay, that goal, I've conquered that mountain. Now what? And I can tell you some of my loneliest moments, I think, when I was living in LA and I was, winning shows, showing up the next day, being a Sunday after a show and being like, okay, I got nothing coming up in my life, immediately that I'm training for, and I would binge eat. I would, feel lonely because again, those goals that, I thought were going to be the end all be all, I was going to make it be at the top of the mountain. They're never as good as you think they're going to be, because again, really what we come to love, and you have to love the process of getting there. And that, again, Monday morning, if I love, actually exercising, if I have hey, I'm going to really concentrate now on building a strength phase, there's no letdown. It's just like, hey, I'm here in the gym now. I've got different goals. I'm just as excited about those things. And I think that's a much healthier aspect rather than always constantly looking for the outside kind of pat on the back. Is really looking about again what you want to accomplish long term. And if it's being healthy, it's not always staying at 4%. If your overall goal, your identity is being a healthy person, and that was for me why I had to stop competing. My overall goal was to be very, very healthy. Now people are like, well, what do you mean, Steve? You're 4%. That's not healthy. So I had to kind of take a step back and be, okay, my identity and actually competing are conflicting with one another. And that was a tough thing to do.